What's going on, guys? Bengal again here, coming back at you with another mock draft. It's been a little while since I've recorded a mock draft, and that's because I was sick for a while. Couldn't really record, period. But I am excited to be back, and the draft order has changed quite a bit. Of course, my Giants had to watch the Seahawks blow a lead to the Bears. So the Bears pick, which the Giants own via the Justin Fields trade, has now dropped from number 6 to number 8, which might not end up being a big difference based on the level of talent in this year's draft. It maybe isn't as good as we've seen in years past, even though it is very balanced. There are a bunch of really good players, and I wouldn't be shocked to see a bunch of superstars out of this draft class, but it's it's maybe not as clear cut who the top 20 guys in the draft are. I think a number of different guys could sneak in the first round, and we're going to show that off here today. This video is brought to you by Bounty Sports, by far the easiest way to play daily fantasy sports on the entire internet, and that's a pretty big place. So basically, here's what you do. It's low stakes, and you can get $5 for free when you sign up using the link down in the description and using code BENGAL. Let me show you how to sign up before we hop into my picks. It's actually really easy. Go to a sign up page, fill out your information, and you're good to go. You don't even have to deposit anything. You just automatically get the $5 added into your account, where you can hop into some of these different contests and win money, real money. And you don't even have to do anything. You just sign up using the link and you have $5 already. The entire system is just so easy, and it's pretty affordable as well. There's low stakes in general, but you can win up to, over $1,000 in prizes. Let's go ahead and check out Week 17 pick. I'm crazy that we're already in Week 17. Let me know down in the comments section below who you think the upset of the week is. That should be really fun. And let's go ahead and roll through here. The Dolphins are red hot right now, but are still the underdog. And the Titans have been struggling a bit. I know they just won their last game, but I think the Dolphins and Jalen Waddle coming back, I think they're going to be good to go. I'm going to take Miami. Got to rock with Jalen Waddle. Patriots at home is just too tough of a place to play. And then, man, Giants, Bears. Both first-round picks of my favorite team, the New York Giants. Both teams suck really badly. I think the Giants are spiraling a bit more out of control right now. I'll take Chicago. The Bengals are red hot right now, and they're the underdog at home. I think they're capable of beating the Chiefs. That offense is super high-powered, and the Chiefs have been really good of late, but I'm going to take the underdog. You get extra points for picking the underdog, so you're incentivized to take that upset. And I'm going to do that with the Bengals. I think the Bucs are going to beat the Jets. You never know. We've seen some crazy upsets this year, like the Texans over the Chargers most recently, but I'll take the Bucs. I'm going to take... the Saints are so tough to take. I know they're at home. Carolina is awful. I'm going to take Carolina in the upset. I think it's worth it to get 2.51 points over the 1 flat, when I think it could be fairly close. We'll have to see, though. Of course, going to take the Bills at home. Another really tough place to play. And then we're going to take the Colts, who are playing as good a football as anybody right now. I'm going to take the Eagles. Washington football team just got murdered on the road at Dallas. I'm going to take... I think the Texans could upset the Niners. The Texans are actually playing pretty well right now under Davis Mills after that huge win. The 49ers are so weird on a week-to-week basis, so I'll play for the big points. Bit of a gamble, but I'm willing to risk it. And then I'll take the Broncos. I will take the Rams. The Ravens are just putting out a practice squad right now. I will take the Lions to beat the Seahawks. Again, I think it makes sense when it's only 1 point versus 3.51, and I think it could be fairly close. The Seahawks are terrible. And then I'll take the Cowboys over the Cardinals, and I'll take the Packers over the Vikings. 28.38, my maximum points. We'll see how many I end up getting. But make sure to use my code BENGAL. Sign up at Bounty. Play for free, essentially, for your first contest. $5 at sign up. No deposit required. And let me know how you do. The Jags have the number 1 overall pick again. And I've done a lot of Kayvon Thibodeau to the Jags over the year of mock drafts. And I still feel like it's got a really high chance of happening. So we are going to start things off pretty basic. I'm going Kayvon Thibodeau to the Jaguars. I still think he's probably the best player in the draft, or at least the best edge rusher. I think Kyle Hamilton is so good for his position. It's just safety is just inherently less valuable than an edge rusher. Although, with the sheer amount of too high that NFL defenses are playing nowadays, Kyle Hamilton's value does go up quite a bit, and he is a very, very good player. Maybe the best in this entire draft but I don't think a safety is going number 1 or number 2, as we're going to go Aiden Hutchinson, keeping the Michigan guy in Michigan for the Lions. Great player, and the Lions are in a situation where they need to take best player available. It's not a very good roster. They could use upgrades at a number of different positions, and thankfully for them, they have 2 first-round picks and a very high pick in the 2nd round as well, as maybe we'll get to in a future mock draft. Do you guys want to see 2 rounds? I think I can do that pretty easily, so we'll do a 2-round mock draft, maybe for the next one, maybe the next one after that. Let me know in the comment section below, depending on how you guys like that, because some teams don't have first-round picks, like the Colts, like the Bears, like the Seahawks, like the Rams, and maybe you want to see me tell you what you might need or who they might get. Texans at number 3, probably the worst overall roster in the league, but they are picking at number 3 in the draft, and I think this could be a quarterback spot. I still am not even on the fence, but I'm still a little bit wary of the QBs in this draft class. It's not incredibly talented. I think there could be some decent QBs long term, but I don't think, at least in terms of how they look as a prospect, I don't think we're looking at, you know, the best quarterback in the league unless Matt Corral takes a huge step in years, or Malik Willis develops really, really nicely. I think Kenny Pickett could be a solid player, and then Carson Strong will be a solid player, with, you know, depending on the situation they go to. But with the Texans pick, I don't know. I just don't think they can afford to take a safety like Kyle Hamilton. I think he's really good. I don't think it really moves the needle for this team. I think I probably want to cop out here and just go Derek Stingley Jr. I think you might have something with Davis Mills. You don't need to take a QB, and getting maybe a lockdown boundary CB1, not bad at number 3. Not bad. Jets at number 4. I'm liking an offensive lineman here. Got to continue to try and improve that level of your team, because everything that the Jets have going for them right now will hinge on the development and the success of Zach Wilson. We want to protect him. We want to give him time to develop. And yes, you do need more weapons. I think a big-time receiver would be huge. I like Elijah Moore a lot. Corey Davis, when healthy, could be okay. Denzel Mims really isn't great. So you could take a receiver, but probably not inside the top 10, probably more in round 2. But maybe you do want to take a shot and get the best one in the draft, whoever you think that is. But we're going to go offensive line. I'm going to go Evan Neal. Has a history of playing right tackle. Would be playing right tackle with Mekhi Becton on the left side. They would have 2 of the biggest and most athletic offensive linemen in the league as their bookend tackles. I like that quite a lot. So I think he's just too good to pass on, or his upside is too great. Even if Ike Mekwonu today might be a little bit better, but even he is not incredibly polished in pass pro, even though he's taken steps moving to left tackle this year for the NC State Wolfpack. Giants at number 5. They're in a bit of a tough spot. I think you definitely want one of the top 2 edge rushers if you're the Giants, but you're in a situation where you're not going to get that. You're not going to take quarterback. They've come out and pretty much said they're committed to Daniel Jones for at least this next season, and this is probably not the class you want to take a quarterback top 5 anyway, even though, yes, this is the same team that drafted Daniel Jones at number 6, but Dave Gettleman probably will not be with the team for this next draft, so who knows what the draft strategy is going to be, which probably leaves it to best player available at a position of need. And we're going off of upside here. I've done this quite a lot, but I'm going David Ojabo at number 5. I think he's a really, really good player. Really like David Ojabo. And this could also be Ike Mekwonu. I've just done that so many times to the Giants that I do want to kind of mix it up a little bit. Done David Ojabo a little bit as well. And this certainly could be Ike Mekwonu, right? The Giants have a huge need on the offensive line. Ike Mekwonu would make a ton of sense. You could put that in there if you want, but I think he's going to end up falling to 8 in this scenario anyway. So it's pretty much roll of the dice. It's just what you're doing here if you're the Giants is maybe expecting the Jets to take him, but instead they're going to go George Karlaftis. Like Karlaftis a lot. Extremely high motor player. Good hands, powerful hands. And isn't probably going to blow you away as a tester. Like, I don't think athletically he is as crazy as some of the other edge freaks we're going to see in this class, like Kayvon, Hutch, Ojabo, great athletes. Ojabo probably being the most athletic of that bunch. Karlaftis is solid enough, and he's really good technically. like Karlaftis. Panthers at number 7. I think this could be a QB spot. I really do, because it's extremely clear that Cam Newton is not their guy. Sam Darnold is brutally bad. I mean, there's really no way around that. You could really take a QB. So this could be the first time we see a quarterback go, and it's going to be outside the top 5. They could continue to fall. I think there's certainly a world where that happens. But every year, we see teams draft quarterbacks early. And this isn't a great QB class, so they have dropped a little bit, but I think we could see one go here at number 7. I've done Matt Corral as the first QB off the board a lot. I still think he probably will be. I think he just has higher upside than Kenny Pickett. Based off the arm talent, it's better than Kenny Pickett. Based off the legs, better than Kenny Pickett. Is Pickett more accurate? Yes. Is he probably a better game manager, which isn't a bad thing, by the way? Yes. Corral's very one read heavy at this moment in time, but that's kind of the function of the Ole Miss offense a little bit under Lane Kiffin. So it's kind of tough to know exactly what you have with Corral, but I think you can fall in love with the arm talent and the upside and take him top 10. So we're going to go Matt Corral to the Panthers. It could have been Ekwonu. It could have been, I mean, Kenyon Green, Charles Cross, could have been any of those guys. But we are going to go Matt Corral. I just think quarterbacks go early, but you could do a number of different things. You could go, if you want offensive line, totally fine. Understand that completely. As this could be Ekwonu very easily for the Giants too. We talked about that earlier. I don't see a way where the Giants spend a top 10 pick and don't take an offensive lineman this year. I just don't really see a way where that happens. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a tackle. I think it probably should be. You certainly need guard. Tyler Linderbaum's great too. I don't really think you see him going top 8, even if there is a world where he goes top 10, which would be very high for a center. I've done Ikem Ekwonu so many times, but I still think it's probably the most likely if he's available here. I mean, we've seen him. I had him going top 10 when he was outside the top 25, I think, in TDN's predictive board. So I've been very high on Ikem Ekwonu for a while. His transition to left tackle has been so awesome this year, and he's raised his stock up tremendously, which is awesome to see for a guard moving to tackle. I mean, it's just been awesome to see for him. Washington football team at 9. This could certainly be a quarterback as well. Heineke is a bit hit or miss. Their defense got torched by Dallas this past week as I record this, and as you guys probably watched, this happened maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. But I don't know. They're in kind of a weird spot. I don't think they're that bad. Are they a QB away? I don't know. It's a weird NFC East, and they were just kind of all over the place this year. I think their offensive line needs to be improved, but I think this could be the second quarterback off the board. I'm going to go Kenny Pickett out of Pitt. 2 quarterbacks going top 10. We might not see one go top 10, but I think this does make some sense so far. Falcons at number 10. Falcons are another team that's they could be in the market for a quarterback too. That's the thing, where this isn't necessarily the best quarterback class we've seen in a while. It's one of the worst. However, it seems like more teams need a quarterback now than ever before. And Matt Ryan could maybe stick around for another year or two. He is certainly getting older. So maybe you try to go best player available at a position of need. AJ Terrell's played awesome. I don't know that you need to take a corner, even though I think you certainly could. I like Andrew Booth Jr. quite a lot. With the D tackles, if you want to lump DeMarvin Leal into that, because he has edge flexibility too, even though I like him more as like a 3 to 5 tech rather than like a true edge, like 7, even a 9. I don't think he's that type of a guy. But where's his value? Because people are all over the place on DeMarvin Leal. I watched him last year, liked him quite a bit. I haven't really seen it much this year when I've watched A&M play, and I haven't had a time to do tape breakdowns on a number of these players yet. But DeMarvin Leal is going to be an interesting study because he is flexible in terms of where he moves around the defensive line, but he hasn't really put up incredible pressure numbers this year, and he hasn't been amazing in run D. He's certainly no nose tackle like Jordan Davis. So what is the value on DeMarvin Leal? Where does he go in the draft? It's going to be really interesting to see. And a lot of the top edge guys are off the board. I like Trayvon Walker here, honestly, because I think he can play IDL a little bit too, in that like 3 to 5 tech range. He's a little bit light for a 3 tech, but maybe in like clear pass rushing downs, because you're probably going to want to do the same thing with Cam Thomas. I like Trayvon Walker here. Keep the Georgia guy in Georgia. Trayvon Walker is an incredible athlete. I think teams are going to fall in love with that. This guy's like 6'5", 270, has played off the ball and has been fluid in coverage. It's been very weird to see him move because he moves like Nakobe Dean at times, right? But he's a defensive lineman. Really fun player. Broncos at 11, another team in the quarterback market. Edge is a need only because Von Miller is gone, but you might be able to bring him back. So I don't know that we can rely on that. Kyle Hamilton's still on the board, but safety just drops sometimes. It just does. I mean, Derwin James was going to be a top 10 pick, right? And then he fell to like, what, 17? And I think that Kyle Hamilton is a better prospect than Derwin James was. And Derwin James is arguably the best safety in the league, ability-wise. He does everything. Injuries are a problem. Broncos, what do you do? I think you take Charles Cross with the idea of playing him at right tackle. They kind of have a big gap over there. I know you need a quarterback really badly, but who do you take? Maybe you reach for Sam Howell or Carson Strong at this spot. Maybe Malik Willis. It certainly could happen. It just depends on, I think, what these guys do at the Senior Bowl, and we'll have a better idea of where these guys are going to land in the draft around that time. Because Daniel Jones, with a decent Senior Bowl performance, I know he won a Senior Bowl MVP somehow in that game. He ended up going top 6, number 6 to the Giants. So a lot of these teams really, really value the Senior Bowl process. And we're going to see what happens. But we could see QBs rising up quite a bit. If a team falls in love with Carson Strong, say, hey, you were a statue at Nevada. You couldn't move, no mobility. We love the arm, though. What's going on? He's like, oh, I had a terrible knee injury. You already know about it. But I'm actually going to be good to go. I can move a little bit. He tests well at the combine. Better 3-cone than you expect. Better 40, 10-yard split, whatever. Maybe you say, oh, he's a better athlete than we expected. Maybe they value him. Carson Strong, he moves up into the top 15. These things happen. Vikings at 12. I think this has to be Kyle Hamilton. I like corner here. I like Andrew Booth. I like Sauce Gardner. Maybe even Kyer Elam. But I think Kyle Hamilton is just the best player available at a position of need. And they had a great defense with Harrison Smith, the hitman, playing the back end for so many years. Maybe you try to add Kyle Hamilton to the mix and say, hey, it's a pretty deep corner class. We'll take one in round 2. That could happen. But Kyle Hamilton, I think, is just too good of a player to pass on at that spot for this team. Saints at 13. Man, you need a quarterback, but you also need receiver. I like Jameis Winston if he's healthy and sticks around. I think he's a free agent. So he might go elsewhere. But I don't know. I feel like Jameis Winston's going to stay home. So I don't think you need receiver or quarterback as much. I think you need to focus on receiver then. And I think it's got to be one of the Ohio State or former Ohio State players. I think these are the 3 best receivers in the class, even though I like Traylon Burks a ton. I think Jahan Dotson's great. Drake London was amazing before injury. George Pickens was so good his freshman and sophomore year at Georgia. He looked amazing. I thought he was going to be receiver 1 in this class going in. And then I kind of started leaning on Garrett Wilson after the George Pickens injury, but he should be back for the college football playoff. So that's a name to look out for. Georgia, Michigan, even with Stetson Bennett throwing the football, George Pickens could be a player that is the difference in that game. So we'll have to see what happens, but I think this is probably going to be a receiver. I've given them Olave. I've given them Garrett Wilson before. I think I've probably even given them Jamison Williams before. But who do I think is the best fit for this offense? Considering that you're going to get Michael Thomas back, I think it's the best deep threat in the class, which is Jamison Williams. He is a huge difference maker, and I think has potential to be a fantastic weapon on the other side of Michael Thomas, because he offers you that speed and that deep threat that you don't really have. Like, you can't really point to Marquez Callaway and say, no, we have that under control. Jamison Williams is much better. And I love Garrett Wilson. I love Chris Olave. They both can be considered deep threats, maybe even Olave a bit more than Wilson. As good of an athlete as Wilson is, Olave is just so smooth down the field. Could be any of those guys. I think it's got to be receiver. You have to improve that receiving room. As much as I loved him at Texas, he left too early. Lil Jordan Humphrey cannot be your receiver 1 or 2. It just can't happen. And yeah, having Michael Thomas out is huge. Marquez Callaway, maybe a good receiver 3. You got to do better than that. We're going receiver. Browns at 14. Think this could be a receiver as well. Certainly could be, and I probably will. I think we're going to keep one of the Ohio State guys local. I think Garrett Wilson's the best receiver in the class still. As much as I do love Jamison Williams, we're going Garrett Wilson, keeping him in state. And now the Pittsburgh Steelers at 15. Man, they need a QB so bad. It's just over for Big Ben. He's not going to be back next year. They do need offensive line. This could be Tyler Linderbaum if you want to move Kendrick Green back over to guard, but he's done a good job at center, so maybe not. Corner is a need as well. You could take a bunch of different things here for the Steelers. I really think they need QB. But they also could be a team that takes a bridge quarterback, veteran free agent, and have them be good enough. I think you need to improve on the O-line. I think we're going to go Kenyon Green here, because you could flex him out to tackle. I don't really love the tackles available. I mean, I like Trevor Penning. I like Bernard Raymond. Like 2 very high potential guys. I think Kenyon Green's probably the best offensive lineman available. Has tackle flexibility as well. Has been doing that for Texas A&M. He does everything, by the way. He plays literally every position on the O-line, with the exception of center so far. I don't think he's played center, but guard, tackle flexibility, and he's just a really good player. So Green going to the black and gold. Chargers at 16. I like Jordan Davis for them. You struggled so much to stop the run. Jordan Davis helps you out significantly. He's a mountain of a man at 6'6", like 330, 340, 340. And he offers you a bit of pass rush too. Now, the only concern with him is the snap count. How much is he actually going to play? That's a big question. He's been about 20 snaps a game for Georgia. And do you value a player like that enough to take him, high in the first round? I think about middle of the first round's about right. And you'll see, what his usage is actually going to be in the NFL. It depends where he goes. But for a team that has struggled to stop the run, Jordan Davis can just eat up blocks and give those linebackers an opportunity to make plays behind him. So, like that fit for the Chargers quite a bit. Raiders at 17. Their offensive line's bad. I think receiver is certainly also in play. But I like the idea of giving them an offensive lineman. And I think Tyler Linderbaum makes a ton of sense for the Raiders. You could take a number of different things. You could even maybe play Linderbaum at guard. I would probably leave him at center. He's so good there. He's a little bit undersized traditionally for a center. I think he's only about 290, but he moves like he's 290. He moves really, really well. Yeah, 6'3", 290. Real strong though. Real strong. He's got that Iowa farm boy strength where you're like, it doesn't make any sense, but moves really, really well. Proficient in his own blocking scheme. You could do a number of different things with that, but I do think the Raiders would be a good fit anyway. Just get a good player like that in, and you got to improve the offensive line. I think getting a new captain of that O-line could be very nice, and that's usually what we call the center, the quarterback, the O-line, and they need help there big time. The Ravens are an interesting team too, because do they need a corner as bad as it looks like they do? They've had a ton of injuries. So they're starting a practice squad secondary right now, but they still need edge help. They still need help on the interior of the defensive line. They still need help at guard. They still need help at tackle. And I think tackle is a huge need too. You've got a number of different needs if you're the Ravens, but with Andrew Booth Jr. available at 18, we're going to pull the trigger. Too good to pass up on. Excellent ball skills. Excellent athleticism. He's pretty good size as well. I think he's 6'1", about 6 foot, 6'1". Yeah. So Andrew Booth Jr., really, really good. Plays like a wide receiver with the football in the air at times, and has the athleticism to mirror and match up against different receivers. So love Andrew Booth. Good value at 18. I think he could go earlier than this for sure. Eagles at 19. I still think receivers in play. They don't really call it a huge need, but it is a huge need to me, because Jalen Reagor really is a problem. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is a lost cause. Devontae Smith is going to be awesome, and he's already shown flashes of being awesome. But you still need a receiver with Olave or Burks on the board, even Jahan Dotson, keep him in state. You like that. You like that potential. I still think they could go linebacker as well. The Eagles are kind of all over the place in terms of their needs, but they're really not that far away. Quarterback 2, I think, is right up there, but you're probably not stressed to take one in this class. You got back-to-back picks right now. I think what we're going to do, if we're the Eagles, is take... I don't love the edge rushers for them. I don't. I don't know how many of these guys are going to go top 20. I think what probably happens is Karlaftis falls a bit and Walker falls a bit, who we already kind of reached on. So I think those guys are going to be the middle of the round guys. But what do you do here if you're Philly? The most athletic one's Drake Jackson. His stock has dropped off quite a bit, but still could be a first-round pick in my opinion. I think let's take corner. Let's get corner out of the way. Ton of good corners. I love Trent McDuffie. His closing speed's amazing, so you probably like him as a nickel, maybe even moving back to safety. But he has the zone instincts and even man cover ability to play boundary CB. So I don't know that you have to move him. I just think you have a really awesome run defending corner. Roger McCreary is awesome in man. Was probably the best corner in the SEC this year. Elam fought injuries. Ahmad Sauce Gardner is really good. Darian Kendrick is off the field stuff, but has played as well as anybody. I think I just like Trent. I mean, maybe, am I just going Washington corner because of Sidney Jones? We're going to go Sauce Gardner. I think he's really, really good. Now, they gave Kobe Bryant, the other corner at Cincinnati, CB2. They gave him DB of the Year, the Thorpe Award. I don't know how you don't give it to his teammate. Kind of crazy to me. But Eagles here at 20. Maybe this is, I think it's got to be somebody in the front 7. I don't know. I do like Jermaine Johnson, one of the best senior pass rushers in the class, probably the second best one behind Aiden Hutchinson. I like Cameron Thomas for his versatility. He's a guy that can move inside, which may be how Roseman would value. Logan Hall is a great athlete, 4-3 defensive end. Myjai Sanders probably plays in the 4-3 as well. Or not probably, that's what he does do. Outside of that, I mean, it's tough to even differentiate who the next best one is. JJ Enigbare, people like, but I don't think he's a first-round guy. Let's go Jermaine Johnson. Amazing run defender. Has a little bit of a ways to go as a pass rusher, but day one, amazing run D guy. You got to value that a little bit as an edge setter. And yeah, I think he's athletic enough to continue to develop. 5-star guy, Georgia guy, Independence University too at what is that? Last Chance U, transfer to Florida State. He was the #1 JUCO player in the country. Awesome player, but continuing to develop as a pass rusher. Dolphins at 21. Man, their O-line is not good. It's got to be an O-lineman for me. It's got to be. You go with a left tackle? Let's do it. We're going to go Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. He's a freak athlete. So big, so strong, mean in the run game as well. So, I mean, if you have an offense like the Dolphins do, which is predicated on short passes and ideally running the football, Trevor Penning is going to work really, really well in that. He's athletic enough to kick out there and play left tackle for you. That's what he does at Northern Iowa. And he's, fast enough in space to get out to the second level on screens and stuff like the Dolphins love to do. I think it's a good fit. Patriots at 22. They need receiver, but the idea of taking a great man corner like Roger McCreary makes too much sense to me. The Patriots historically run so much man. JC Jackson's been such a great ball hawk too. Be really nice to get a shutdown corner on the other side. And I think Roger McCreary can be that. Eagles back up again. We've taken corner and edge for them in Ahmad Gardner and Jermaine Johnson, respectively. What do you do here if you're Philadelphia? I think Devin Lloyd sticks out to me as probably the best player available for this team. So we are going to go Devin Lloyd here. I think Nakobe Dean's going to fight for LB1. He might even end up being LB1 for me, but we're going to stick Devin Lloyd in there for now. Stud, potential Mike linebacker out of Utah. Really, really good. Cardinals at 24. Man, this team has started to get exposed a little bit of late. Still really good. still have crazy high potential. I think we got to go with a corner. And I think Trent McDuffie is an awesome fit. Pair him up with former Washington corner Byron Murphy. McDuffie is a little bit of a better athlete, I think. And amazing in run D. If you have like a freak like Budda Baker who can play in the box and in the slot and over the top, and then you bring in Trent McDuffie that I think can do similar things, that's going to be a really fun defense. They're just getting so many great athletes that can fly around the field and do so many different things. Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Budda Baker. Let's get another one in Trent McDuffie. Bills at 25. What do the Bills do? I think I've done DeMarvin Leal here quite a bit. We're going to go Chris Olave, though. Receiver is a bit of a weird position for them right now because Gabriel Davis plays pretty well in his role. Stephon Diggs is obviously amazing. But outside of that, it starts to get a little bit tough because the longevity of certain players, such as Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, you wonder how long those guys are going to be able to stick around on that team and that offense and be effective. We need a deep threat, and we need somebody to take the pressure off a little bit. I think Chris Olave at 25 is just, he's too good a value. He always falls in the draft for me, but he's really good. Bengals at 26, dropped off quite a bit because of how successful they've been, and I've given them Bernard Raymond a bunch, but this guy was a receiver coming out of Austria, turned tight end, turned tackle, and only playing tackle for a couple of years. He's already technically sound as a tackle in pass pro. He's bulked up a ton. He's a great athlete. I think a team's going to take a shot on him round one because the upside is so great, so amazing. And why not the Bengals and try to develop him as a left tackle? Bucks are always a tough team to mock for because they are very good. So you're either predicting guys to leave at receiver like Chris Godwin, who might, or you're trying to replace a position of need in the future. But I think with DeMarvin Leal on the board, we are going to take him there. This could be Treylon Burks, could be Jahan Dotson. It could be a number of different things, right? Could be so many different things. But we're going Leal. I think he can play right away in that Ndamukong Suh role. I like Ndamukong Suh. He's not going to play forever. DeMarvin Leal, I think this is a pretty good value for him. Lions at 28, we're going receiver. I've given them Treylon Burks in this spot quite a bit, I think. Let's get a big-bodied USC receiver to pair with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was at USC last year. Probably like Drake London quite a bit when they were watching Amon-Ra St. Brown on film. So Drake London pairs the USC receivers back together again, and they get a really, really big athletic, too, number one receiver in Drake London. Titans at 29, Nakobe Dean, and don't think twice about it. Love Nakobe Dean. Sideline to sideline speed, great in coverage, and he's like a heat-seeking missile at times. He's a beast. So fun to watch. Cowboys at 30. I'm not sure you need edge because Micah Parsons is going to play edge going forward. You have DeMarcus Lawrence. You could get another one in there. I think it's got to be a safety for me. And I love Dax Hill in this spot. I just think he's the best one available. And you could also play him nickel corner too. Super athletic. Daxton Hill to the Cowboys at 30. Chiefs at 31. Let's go with Treylon Burks. Yeah, let's go Treylon Burks. They don't really have a receiver like this on their team. And I guess few teams do. You talk about someone that's 6'3", built like a running back with track speed. You don't really find that very often. But he's a really fun player. And I think the Chiefs could get really creative in the way they use him. I think he could get design handoffs in the same way that you see Travis Kelce all the time. Take those little pitches up the middle, those little shovel passes. I think you could use Treylon Burks for those too. And maybe get those guys changing directions. A little misdirection always confuses the defense. You can use them in a number of different ways. Use them as a big slot even. But I think making that offense even better is really fun. And then the Packers at 32, it's never a receiver, is it? Their offensive line has been a little bit ragtag of late. What do you want to do here if you are the Packers? I don't know. I don't really love Nicholas Petit-Frere. I don't love the tackles at this spot. I'd almost prefer Darian Kennard, who has played right tackle for Kentucky. Because you could play him on that side. Let's do it. He's played right tackle. He's going to play right tackle in this scenario. David Bakhtiari stays at left tackle. So Darian Kinnard to the Packers at 32. This was a fun mock draft. I like the way it turned out. Obviously, some players went up a lot. Some players fell a lot. It's the nature of the NFL draft. We only had a few quarterbacks going round one. Only two. Pickett and Corral at 7 and 9. I think there could be another QB somewhere in this range as well, and then maybe even in the back end. But maybe not. It's not a very strong quarterback class, so it'll be interesting to see where the QBs actually go, and we'll learn more as we get through draft season. The Senior Bowl, the NFL Combine, should be very fun. But thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah, promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, yeah. Papa turn taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.